Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about one of the most interesting coins from the United States Mint, the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar. Many people think this coin is just an ordinary half-dollar worth only 50 cents, but some special versions of it have sold for thousands of dollars. In fact, one rare 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar once sold for around $12,000. That is a huge amount of money for a single coin that most of us have probably seen or used at some point. So, let's go through the story of this coin, where it came from, and why some of them are so valuable today. The Kennedy half-dollar began in 1964, just a few months after the death of President John F. Kennedy. When he was assassinated in November 1963, the whole nation was in shock and mourning. People wanted a way to honor him, so the U.S. Mint decided to replace the Franklin half-dollar with a new design featuring President Kennedy's face. The coin's front, also called the obverse, was designed by Gilroy Roberts, and the back, or reverse, was designed by Frank Gasparro. The design showed Kennedy's strong profile on one side and the presidential seal on the other. The coin was meant to be a symbol of respect and remembrance for one of the most loved presidents in American history. When the first Kennedy half-dollars were made in 1964, they were made of 90% silver. People loved them so much that they started saving them instead of spending them. Because of that, there weren't many in circulation. Then silver prices went up, and by 1965 the mint had to reduce the amount of silver in coins to 40%. But just a few years later, in 1971, the mint made another big change. They stopped using silver altogether and started using copper-nickel clad, which is the same type of metal used in today's quarters and dimes. That means most 1971 Kennedy half-dollars have no silver content at all. Now, 1971 was also the first year the mint used this new metal combination for the half-dollar, and that is where the story of the rare 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar begins. The letter D stands for the Denver Mint, which is one of the U.S. Mint's coin production centers. During this transition period, something unusual happened. A few leftover silver planchets, which are blank metal discs meant to be stamped into coins from 1970, were accidentally left in the machines. That means some of the 1971 D half-dollars were actually struck on those old silver blanks instead of the new copper-nickel ones. These accidental coins are what collectors call error coins, and they are extremely rare. Out of the millions of half-dollars made that year, only a handful were struck on silver planchets by mistake. These are the ones that can be worth thousands of dollars today. But how can you tell if you have one? It's not too hard if you know what to look for. First, check the weight. A normal 1971 D half-dollar made of copper and nickel weighs about 11.34 grams. A silver one is a little heavier, around 11.50 to 11.60 grams. That small difference can be enough to tell them apart if you use a good digital scale. Second, look at the edge of the coin. Regular copper-nickel coins have a visible copper-colored line on the edge. Silver coins do not have that, their edge looks solid silver all the way around. Third, you can listen to the sound. When you gently drop a silver coin on a hard surface, it gives off a higher-pitched ringing sound, while a normal coin makes a duller clinking noise. Besides these rare silver planchet errors, there are other types of mint errors that can make a 1971 D half-dollar valuable too. Some coins were struck slightly off-center, meaning the design doesn't line up correctly. The more off-center the coin is, the more it might be worth, especially if the date is still visible. Other coins show doubling on the date or on the letters. This is called a double die error. When the doubling is strong and easy to see, collectors will pay hundreds of dollars for it. Another interesting type is called a clipped planchet, where part of the coin's edge looks like a small bite has been taken out. These are not worth as much as the silver ones, but they are still fun to collect and can be worth $50 or more. Every coin has its own story, market value, and design. That is what makes coin collecting so exciting. Even a simple coin that most people overlook could turn out to be something special if you take the time to study it. When it comes to the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar, the price can range a lot depending on its condition and whether it has one of those rare mint errors. Most regular coins are worth only their face value, maybe $1 to $3 if they are in perfect, uncirculated condition. But a true error coin, especially one made on a silver planchet, can bring in thousands. One such coin sold for more than $12,000 at auction, and another similar one graded by PCGS, which stands for Professional Coin Grading Service, sold for around $8,000. So, it's always worth taking a second look at the coins in your collection or even in your change jar. If you think you have one of these rare coins, you should not clean it or polish it. Cleaning can damage the surface and lower its value. The best thing to do is leave it as it is and have it checked by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, which stands for Numismatic Guarantee Company. They can confirm if it's real and tell you its exact grade and value. Checking your own coin is easy if you follow a few steps. First, look for the small letter D mint mark right below Kennedy's neck on the front of the coin. Then weigh the coin carefully using a digital scale. Check the edge for that copper stripe, and use a magnifying glass to see if there are any odd marks, doubling, or signs of an error. It's also a good idea to compare the color and shine to a normal $half from another year to see if anything looks unusual. The Kennedy $half also has some fun history behind it. When it first came out in 1964, people loved it so much that they kept them as keepsakes. Some people even believed it was unpatriotic to spend them because they represented the late president. Jacqueline Kennedy, the president's wife, personally approved the coin's design before it was released. Today, the Kennedy $half is still being made, though most are produced mainly for collectors rather than for everyday use. It's amazing to think that a simple coin can carry so much history, emotion, and even mystery. The 1971 D. Kennedy $half reminds us that even ordinary things can become valuable when there's a story behind them. Most of these coins will always just be worth 50 cents, but those rare few made on silver planchets are like hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. So, next time you find a Kennedy $half, don't just spend it right away. Take a closer look. Check the weight, the edge, and the sound. You never know, you might be holding a small piece of American history worth thousands of dollars. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed learning about the 1971 D. Kennedy $half, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more coin stories. You never know what valuable coins might be hiding in your pocket change, so keep collecting, keep learning, and who knows, maybe your next coin could be worth a fortune.